Women are not supposed to be speaking in churches, and women are not supposed to be taking authority roles.
So one of the scriptures in question is this one. And a lot of people take this verse out of context and twist it to mistreat women, but that is not why Paul wrote this verse. When we look at the context of 1 Timothy chapters 2 and 3, what we see here is all the qualifications for church leadership, specifically for the offices of pastor and elder. That's what that word bishop means. Paul here is not saying that women can't participate in church. He's not even saying that women can't preach once in a while. When we look at what Paul says, he says they should not usurp authority over a man. What authority? Pastor and elder. Now, I do agree that God has called godly men to be the pastors and elders. But to say that women can't participate or that women can't teach or preach is taking things out of context. Because when we look at the Bible as a whole, we see female prophets teaching and preaching. The other one is this text right here that was brought up. But again, when we look at the context, Paul is talking about the order of worship services. And I'm not saying this thing comes after this thing, comes after this thing. I'm not talking about scheduling. I'm talking about order versus chaos. Have you ever walked into a sanctuary at church and you see people talking and gabbing and having a good time in church? To treat the sanctuary like that, to just talk, common talk, crack jokes, and be loud, that's not okay in a sanctuary. When we walk into the sanctuary of God, we need to be reverent. We need to keep our minds on Jesus. We need to be praying to him. We don't need to be doing this, because what was going on here was services were being interrupted. Paul is talking about reverence for the sanctuary. He's not talking about women not being able to participate. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not progressive by any stretch of the imagination. I am rather conservative. Because again, I believe that God has called men, godly men, to be the leaders of the church. And churches who have ordained women as pastors and elders usually crumble in membership. But we have to take things in context. There is nothing wrong with women teaching a Bible study, or with women preaching sometimes. It's perfectly acceptable. Now, I understand your concern. There are a lot less godly men than there used to be. And as Christian men, we need to step up. We need to lead our families. We need to lead the church. We need to make the Word of God a part of our daily lives. But that does not mean that we don't allow women to do anything in the church. To be a godly man according to the Bible is to be a leader, not a dictator.